जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीराबन चारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनतीरवनचारि। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा गोपी वल्लभ राधा गोपी वल्लभ राधे। हे राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधे। जय जगन्नाथ जगन्नाथ बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा। जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी नयन पथगामी भाव तुम्हें। निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो गौर हरि। जय सच्चिनंदन जय सच्चिनंदन जय सचिन जय सचिनंदन गौरी पतिता पावाना पतिता पावाना पतिता पावाना गौरी। जय जय प्रभुपा 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 जय जय प्रभुपा। जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। श्री श्री राधा गोपी वल्लभ की जय। श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की जय। श्री निताय गौरंग भगवान की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की श्री गुरुदेव की जय। निताय गौर हरि प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल। ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतविषे नमः नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गौ ब्राह्मणाहिताय च जगदिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमामि विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वतदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पश्चात्तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नुकुं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं श्रीपरमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् ओम पवित्रो पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थं गतोऽपि वा यत्स्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्ष सहभ्यभ्यन्तरं शुचि श्रीविष्णु 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 We are reading from Canto 10, chapter 8, verse number 16 onwards. But we'll just read.
19 onwards, Prabhuji.
Huh?
19.
19 minutes, okay. But I just like to read the translation of the verses once so we all come up to speed from the first verse onwards. Let's read the translation. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th chapter. The Lord Krishna shows the universal form within his mouth. Haribol. Text 1. Yesterday the class already happened. I think Deepa Mataji took the class and she took it all the way till 18th verse. I'll just read the translations to begin with. From 19th we'll go in the usual format of reading Shloka translation purports. Text 1. Sukadeva Goswami said, O Maharaj Parikshit, the priest of the Yadu dynasty, namely Gargamuni, who was highly elevated in austerity and penance, was then inspired by Vasudeva to go see Nanda Maharaj at his home. Text 2. When Nanda Maharaj saw Gargamuni present at his home, Nanda was so pleased that he stood up to receive him with folded hands. Although seeing Gargamuni with his eyes, Nanda Maharaj could appreciate that Gargamuni was Adokshaj. That is, he was not an ordinary person seen by material senses. Text 3. When Gargamuni had been properly received as a guest and was very comfortably seated, Nanda Maharaj submitted with gentle and submissive words. Dear sir, because you are a devotee, you are full in everything, yet my duty is to serve you. Kindly order me. What can I do for you? Text 4. O my lord, O great devotee, persons like you move from one place to another not for their own interest but for the sake of poor-hearted grahasthas, householders. Otherwise, they have no interest in going from one place to another. Text 5. O great saintly person, you have compiled the astrological knowledge by which one can understand past and present unseen things. By the strength of this knowledge, any human being can understand what he has done in his past life and how it affects his present life. This is known to you. By the strength of his knowledge, any human being can understand what he has done in his past life and how it affects his present life. This is known to you. Text 6. My lord, you are the best of Brahmanas, especially because you are fully aware of the Jyoti Shastra, the astrological science. Therefore, you are naturally, the spiritual master of every human being. This being so, since you have kindly come to my house, kindly execute the reformatory activities for my two sons. Text 7. Gargamuni said, My dear Nanda Maharaj, I am the priestly guide of the Yadu dynasty. This is known everywhere. Therefore, if I perform the purificatory factory for your process for your sons, Kamsa will consider them the sons of Devaki. Text 8 and 9. Kamsa is both a great diplomat and a very sinful man. Therefore, having heard from Yogamaya, the daughter of Devaki, that the child who will take him has already been born somewhere else, having heard that the eighth pregnancy of Devaki could not bring forth a female child, and having understood your friendship with Vasudeva, Kamsa, upon hearing that the purificatory process has been performed by me, the priest of the Yudhya dynasty, may certainly consider all these points and suspect that Krishna is the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Then he might take steps to kill Krishna. That would be a catastrophe. Text 10. Nanda Maharaj said, my dear great sage, if you think that you are performing the process of purification will make Kamsa suspicious, then secretly chant the Vedic hymns and perform the purifying process of second birth here in the cowshed of my house without the knowledge of anyone else, even my relatives. For this process of purification is essential. Text 11. Sukadeva Goswami continued, having thus been especially requested by Nanda Maharaj to do that which he heard desired to do, Gargamuni performed the name giving ceremony for Krishna and Balarama in a solitary place. Text 12. Gargamuni said, this child, the son of Rohini, will give all happiness to his relatives and friends by his transcendental qualities. Therefore, he will be known as Rama. And because he will manifest extraordinary bodily strength, he will also be known as Bala. Moreover, because he unites two families, Vasudeva's family and the family of the Nanda Maharaj, he will be known as Sankarshana. Text 13. Your son Krishna appears as an incarnation in every millennium. In the past, he assumed three different colors, white, red, and yellow. And now he has appeared in the blackish color. In other Dwapara Yuga, he appeared as Lord Ramachandra in the color of Sukha, a parrot. All such incarnations have now assembled in Krishna. Text 14. For many reasons, this beautiful son of yours sometimes appeared previously as a son of Vasudeva. Therefore, those who are learned sometimes call this child Vasudeva. Text 15. For this son of yours, there are many forms and names according to his transcendental qualities and activities. These are known to me, but people in general do not understand them. Text 16. To increase the transcendental bliss of the cowherd men of Gokula, this child will always act auspiciously for you. And by his grace only, you will surpass all difficulties. Text 17. O Nanda Maharaj, as recorded in history, when there was an irregular, incapable government, Indra having been dethroned and people were being harassed and disturbed by thieves, this child appeared in order to protect the people and enable them to flourish, and he curbed the rogues and thieves. Hare Krishna. Now, till text 17 I've read. Now, text 18 onwards, we'll read the verse also, translation purpose. Hare Krishna. Ye etasmin mahabhaga प्रीतिं कुर्वन्ति मानवा नारयो अभिभवन्ति एतान् विष्णु पक्षान् इवासुरा. Demons, asuras, cannot harm the demigods, who always have Lord Vishnu on their side. Similarly, any person or group attached to Krishna is extremely fortunate, because such persons are very much affectionate towards Krishna. They cannot be defeated by demons like the associates of Kamsa or by the internal enemies, the senses. Demons cannot harm the demigods who always have Lord Vishnu on their side. Similarly, any person or group attached to Krishna is extremely fortunate. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining, Prabhuji and Matajis. I'm very grateful that you all have come. Dandot Pranam to all the devotees, Shilpa Mataji, Satya Sankarshan Prabhu, Dandot Pranam. Madhav Kripa Prabhu, Dandot Pranam. Sanjay Prabhu, Dandot Pranam. Sundar Keshav Prabhu,
Dandath Prabhu.
Padma,
Hare Krishna
Padma
Prabhu.
Mataji, Dr. Deepti Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Vanilla Mataji, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna, President.
Prasad Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam. Sirsha Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranam.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavат Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Bol. So here we are beginning the class by repeating the verse being told by Sukadeva Goswami, actually being told by Gargamuni, that we are all very fortunate. Any person who is or person or group attached to Krishna is extremely fortunate because such persons are very affectionate towards Krishna. They cannot be defeated by demons like the associates of Kamsa or by internal enemies, the senses. So we have to become that group. We're already that group. Fortunate to be part of such a group, started by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada and followed by his disciples and many, many groups around the world. We are one tiny group here in this part of Gachibowli, this part of Hyderabad, and we are all reading Bhagavatam on a Ekadashi day morning. How fortunate are we? Text 19. Tasman Nandatmajo ayam te Narayana samogunai striya kirtyanu bhavena gopa yasva samahita. In conclusion, therefore, O Nanda Maharaja, this child of yours is as good as Narayana. In his transcendental qualities, opulence, name, fame, and influence, is exactly like Narayana. You should all raise this child very carefully and cautiously. Purport. In this verse, the word Narayana Sama is significant. Narayana has no equal. He is asa, asama, asamauthya, asamauddhva. No one is equal to him, and no one is greater than him, greater than he is. As stated in Shastra, Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahma Rudradi Daivatai Samat Samatvinaiva Viksheta Sa Fashandi Bhaved Dhruvam. One who equates Narayana even with great exalted demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma is a Pashindi or an agnostic. No one can equal Narayana. Nonetheless, Gargamuni used the word Sama, meaning equal, because he wanted to treat Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead, who had become Nanda Maharaj's son. Gargamuni wanted to impress upon the mind of Nanda Maharaj, your worshipable deity, Narayana is so pleased with you that he has sent you a son almost equal to him in qualifications. Therefore, you may designate your son with a similar name such as Mukunda or Madhusudana. But you must always remember that whenever you want to do something very good, there will be many hindrances. Therefore, you should raise and protect this child with great care. If you can protect this child very cautiously, as Narayana always protects you, the child will be as good as Narayana. Gargamuni also indicated that although the child was exaltedly qualified like Narayana, he would enjoy more than Narayana as Rasavihari, the central enjoyer of the rasa dance. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Lakshmi Sahasra Satasam Brahma Sevyamanam, he would be served by many gopis who would all be as good as the goddess of fortune. So, very beautifully, Prabhupada is touching upon few words of Gargamuni where he said he's exactly like Narayana. Now, Gargamuni is explaining that such a statement cannot be made for anybody else. And he's also saying that anybody who says that Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and Narayana are same are Pashandis, right? Very, very ignorant people, agnostic people. But unfortunately, today most of the people outside are like that. Mayavadis, they just believe in, they think that God is one, the some tube light or floodlight or some kind of energy in the sky. And whenever he appears in a form, so all forms are same, right? That is a problem. It's a problem. So here he's instructing that, number one, he is as same as Narayan. And if somebody like Gargamuni is saying it, that means he is Narayan. And he's saying this is not an ordinary Narayan again. He is he's not just Narayan. He's the Narayan who does the greatest rasa vihari, meaning the most enjoying aspect of Narayan, his original state, Adi Narayan. He is the Supreme Personality Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Recently, I was hearing a short clip of Prabhupada. I will send it to you after this Zoom meeting. Uh, Prabhupada is saying how important it is to recognize God. He's saying Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada is saying why people who become so knowledgeable, so uh, austeritic, like tapasvis, they speak about God, but they don't recognize who is God. Prabhupada addresses, them as rascals, out of his compassion. He says these rascals are talking so many things about God, they are doing so many activities for God, but they don't know who is God. Why is it so difficult to accept Krishna as God? Well, it's difficult for many reasons. One is we are too conditioned not to accept. From our childhood, maybe this life, many lives, we will condition not to accept God with His name, with His form. And second, they are not educated properly. That uh, who is God? We are not educated. We all have been introduced to many devatas, many festivals, and many forms of God, but we have not been told who is God, who are all these devatas working towards, right? So many people in ISKCON are fortunate because they got to know who is God, right? But the people outside are unfortunate because they are so close to knowing who is God, but they're not willing to know who is God. They like to argue uh, that, God is this, God is that. Well, they have partial reality. They are appreciating the expansions of God, but they're not appreciating God Himself, right? So their spiritual progress is checked. Now, does it mean there are no devotees outside ISKCON? There are devotees. Devotion is a very, very deep concept. Cannot be limited to any one institution or so, but we do have to admit that devotion is very strong when we are very focused. Ekeha Kurunandana. Vyavasayatmika Bhakti, Ekah Kurunandana. It should be single pointed focus. So, what Prabhupada did by opening ISKCON is he gave us all a single pointed focus towards Krishna. So, we are not diverted here and there. Our altars are not filled with many expansions of Krishna also, many expansions of Narayana also, because we want to focus on Krishna. Do we disrespect any other forms of Lord Narayana or Vishnu? No. How can we say that? They're equal. But why we worship Krishna is because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come and he has explained that in this Kali Yuga, the bhajan of Krishna is the highest. And Krishna is Rasaraj. And his original supreme personality of Godhead with all rasas in it, in him, right? So we do this 10th session in our Science of Celebration series, which is the longest session. There's so much to say why we worship Krishna. And we also do Vamanadvadashi, Varahadvadashi. We also go to and we worship Lord Narsimhadev. We do Ram Navami, right? Matsya Kurma, Sankarshana, everybody. We worship all expansions of Vishnu equally. But somewhere we are very keen to worship Lord Krishna, primarily because Acharyas have explained, Gargamuni has explained that he's equal to Narayan, and what to speak of equal, he is Rasraj. His pastimes are so sweet. So if the pastimes of Krishna are attracting me towards the Supreme Person, who's Krishna himself, then some devotees choose to worship Krishna. There are also devotees who worship Rama uh, as the Supreme Person. And Prabhupada many times told there's nothing wrong in it. See, Prabhupada is trying to develop attraction towards God by, by declaring Krishna as that Supreme Person, and he's saying Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam is told by Vyasdev himself in Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's very important we all stay focused. We don't go in 10 directions and uh, and get diverted. Because I'll tell you, uh, in this material world, our mind is always flickering and trying to find some shelter, right? It is not, and the modes are also pushing us in different directions. So in between, somebody can come and tell, worship this devata, he will remove you from a particular obstacle. And while we do that, we subtly, unknowingly consider that the devata is more powerful than the Supreme Lord. See, when you are worshipping Krishna and he is the source of all devatas, where is the question of thinking that devatas can do something more than what Krishna can do? Krishna can do everything. He is giving all the resources to the devatas. Whatever the devatas sanction is coming from Krishna, Narayan only. But due to our conditioned mind, we get diverted. So that is the problem. That is why we don't worship devatas, so that our problem is not with devatas, problem is our mind. That we start giving preference or some special importance, thinking they can do something that Krishna cannot do. Right? Recently, coincidentally, like a couple of days ago, there was one personality, he came to our satsang and he was asking that, why are we not worshipping Brahma? Your Brahma Sampradaya, why are you not worshipping Brahma? I was trying to explain to him that we are worshipping Brahma by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Vedas, which are given by Brahma only, right? Brahma has passed it on. No, but why is Brahma not on the altar? Why don't you keep Brahma on the altar? He was going on persisting. I said, see, there's nothing wrong in keeping Brahma on the altar. Prabhupada did not say we should not. But Prabhupada, our Sanstapaka Acharya, has also given an altar which keeps us very focused, very, very, uh, very clear, right? Second. Here. Mhm. Just keeping it on silent so that it doesn't disturb us. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so should we keep Brahma on the altar? We can keep. Why are we not keeping Brahma on the altar? Because I also want to keep Narad Muni. I also want to keep Vedavyas. I also want to keep so many others, right? I want to keep Jayadeva Goswami. There are so many in the parampara. This is no, but Brahma is the one who started the parampara. Why don't you at least keep him? I told him that, see, all parampara started by Lord Krishna only. Brahma is a messenger. So even Madhvacharya have to keep because we are Brahma Madhva, Gaudiya Kuru Parampara Sampradaya. So it took some time for me to explain that we have to follow uh, the path and a proper direction given by our guru, and that's important. Is it fanatically that we should follow without thinking? No, we should understand that we have this much time for deity worship, and we should understand that all deities on the altar have to be properly maintained and kept. And if A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada has designed this whole worship system and he has said that this is the altar, this much you keep, and this will keep you focused, then that's enough. That's enough. On special festival days, you can keep somebody else, somebody more. Or even if you keep, your Ishta Devata, like for example, I even kept Hanumanji on my altar. Uh, I love even Ganeshji. It's okay. But consider them as Vaishnavas. Don't consider them as somebody superior or more powerful than Supreme Lord. That is where the problem comes, right? We seek protection, but when we don't seek protection, knowing that Krishna is supreme, then we have to come back in this world because we have still not understood the essence of all scriptures is to understand who is Krishna. So we should be very careful to declare anybody Hold,
Manda
hold
Ramesh.
on. 1 second, I'll mute. Yeah, yeah. So we should be very careful while we declare anybody as the supreme, uh, because that's a very wrong etiquette, you know. And here, Krishna is being named, and Gargamuni is also saying that we can name your son as Madhusudana Mukunda because he's actually equal to Narayan. Uh, but at the same time, be careful because there Kamsa is waiting to kill Krishna. As soon as he knows that Krishna is here, he's going to do a lot of nonsense, a lot of things. Again, irony, the paradox here is how can anybody kill somebody who is Narayan or equal to Narayan or like Narayan? When why is Gargamuni telling that, keep, be careful, serve nicely? For two reasons. One, it's a great opportunity for you to serve Narayan. So don't think twice on who is he is Narayan. So serve him nicely. Service. Right. And second, Krishna himself likes paternal love, love of his friends, and that is the reason he's appeared. So he keeps that Yogamaya in top of everybody's consciousness, making them feel that he's one among them, so he can experience the mellows of friendship and parents and lovers and everything in this world. So he's making Nanda Maharaj that uh, feel that he can actually protect Krishna, Narayan. Text 20. श्रीसुक उवाच इति आत्मानं समादिस्य गर्ग च गर्गे च स्वगृहं गते नन्दा प्रमुदितो मेने आत्मानं पूर्णम् आसीसाम्. Srila Sukadeva Goswami continued, after Gargamuni, having instructed Nanda Maharaj about Krishna, departed from his own home. Nanda Maharaj was very pleased and considered himself full of all good fortune. Purport. Krishna is a super soul and Nanda Maharaj is an individual soul. By the instructions of Gargamuni, both of them were blessed. Nanda Maharaj was thinking of Krishna's safety from the hands of demons like Putana and Sakatasura, and because he possessed such a son, he thought of himself as most fortunate. Mhm. Yes. Text 21. Kalena vrajata vrajatalpena gokule rama keshavau जानुभ्यां सह पाणिभ्यां रिंग रिंगमानौ विजाहृतौ. After a short time passed, both brothers Rama and Krishna began to crawl on the ground of the Braja with the strength of their hands and knees and thus enjoy their childhood play. One Brahmana devotee said, श्रुतिम अपरे स्मृतिम इतरे भारतम अन्ये भन अन्ये भजन्तु भव भिता अहम इह नंदम वंदे यस्यालिंदे परम ब्रह्मा. Let others fearing material existence worship the Vedas, the Vedic supplementary Puranas, and the Mahabharata, but I shall worship Nanda Maharaj, in whose courtyard the Supreme Brahman is crawling. For a highly exalted devotee, Kaivalya, merging into the existence of the Supreme, appears no better than hell, Narakayate. But here, one can simply think of the crawling of Krishna and Balaram in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj and always merge in the transcendental happiness. As long as one is absorbed in thoughts of Krishna Lila, especially Krishna's childhood pastimes, as Parikshit Maharaj desired to be, one is always merged in actual Kaivalya. Therefore, Vyasadeva compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. लोकस्या जानतो विद्वांस चक्रे सात्वत संहिताम. Bhagavatam 176. Vyasadeva compiled Srimad Bhagavatam under the instruction of Narada so that anyone can take advantage of this literature. Think of Krishna's pastimes and always be liberated. Haribol. Prabhupada repeated the same verse again. So here, the beauty is seeing the Supreme Lord crawl. How many of you want to see Krishna and Balram crawling in your courtyard? First of all, you don't have a courtyard. But anyway, in the house. So even now, on Janmashtami day, it's a nice, sweet offering that many devotees in the villages, especially in villages, they make footprints of Krishna right from outside their house into their house. And they signify that my little Krishna is crawling and coming into the house, right? And those they maintain the footprints. Some people even paint it and keep it. They dip in the paint and they keep the footprints as if Krishna has come inside. So, such a beautiful way of welcoming Krishna like a small child. And at the time of death, if you remember Krishna and Balaram crawling in Nanda Maharaj's house, we go back to that same house, right? Hare Krishna. So, Parikshit Maharaj, on his deathbed, literally going to die in a couple of days, is wanting to hear the childhood pastimes of Krishna, as explained by Srila Prabhupada. Text 22. Tav Angri Angriyumam Yukmam Anukristya Sharis Saris Pantau Gosha Pragosha Ruchiram Vraja Karda Kardameshu Tannada Hrista Manasav Anushritya Lokam Mugdha Prabhi Upe Yatur Ati Matro. When Krishna and Balaram, with the strength of their legs, crawled in the muddy places created in Braja by cow dung and cow urine, their crawling resembled the crawling of serpents, and the sound of their ankle bells was very charming. Even very much pleased by the sound of other people's ankle bells, they used to follow these people as if going to their mothers. But when they saw that these were other people, they became afraid and returned to their real mothers, Yashoda and Rohini. So sweet. So the child is playing, he's hearing the sound, and suddenly he sees, oh, this is Yashoda. He runs. Oh, it's not Yashoda. He comes back running. So sweet, right? And muddy places created in the Vraja. Muddy place is such a nuisance and such a difficult thing for today's people to to accept, right? This water and mud, people, I don't want to get into that. That's because of the conditioning. We are living in such a dry world, dry bathrooms, dry hearts, right? Wet, anything wet, you don't even want to keep the feet, especially people who went to America and got diseased by this dryness. Before, while I was in India, before going to America, I had no problem with water on the floor, especially in bathrooms. Now, if there is water on the floor, it has to be dry. So you create separations, this dry part of the bathroom, this wet part of the bathroom, and all that. No, nothing like that. It's all conditioning. So look at Krishna here. He is very happy to jump into the mud, jump into the cow dung. Huh? Uh, when we stamp on cow dung, yes, I stepped on cow dung. Feel like that. No, it's such a nice thing. Of course, we should not step on it, but if we step, it's part of the Gaushala, Gauseva. Yesterday we had such a nice session about cows and what cows can give us, and most importantly, how directly, indirectly we are responsible for Gau Hatya. Why are we not able to chant properly? Why is our mind not permitting us to chant properly? Maybe part of the reason is we are responsible for Gau Hatya. We are performing Gau Hatya by not using what cow is giving. And the cow has become a burden for so many farmers and they are killing. And on top of that, Forget about not buying. We are buying things where there is cow meat, cow blood, cow bone being used. So it was a beautiful session. But we have to see, how much cow is part of Krishna's life. Krishna starts his day with a cow, crawling on the cow dung. Purport. When Krishna and Balarama were crawling about Vrajabhumi, they were enchanted by the sound of ankle bells. Thus, they sometimes followed other people who would enjoy the crawling of Krishna and Balarama and exclaim, "Oh, see how Krishna and Balarama are crawling." Upon hearing this, Krishna and Balarama could understand that these were not their mothers they were following. And they would return to their actual mothers. Thus, the crawling of Krishna and Balaram was enjoyed by the people of the neighborhood as well as the mother Yashoda and Rohini and the two children themselves. Such a beautiful sight to see children crawling in the house, right? And such a horrible sight that children are put in crush homes and preschools, and mothers go to Microsoft, Infosys, uh, and all these big companies, not seeing their children crawling. They are crawling to earn more money, but they are ignoring the real beauty of paternal love. People who don't have interest to see their own children crawl, grow, and cuddle them, kiss them, why do you think they'll be permitted to Goloka? Where the only thing that they can see is Krishna crawling, Krishna playing, Krishna um, kissing, hugging, and doing so many things. Right? Actually, Bhauma Vrindavan is the place where Krishna is seen as a child. They explain Goloka Krishna is Nava Yavanamcha. He is always in Yavana. He is like that 16-year-old, always, right? Eternally beautiful, and becoming beauty is increasing with every passing moment. If there is time in spiritual world, time is only enhancing. And if there is time in the material world, time is only destroying. So here is Krishna and Balarama crawling. And who is enjoying? Everybody is enjoying. Neighborhood is enjoying. Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj is enjoying. Rohini Mata is enjoying. And even Krishna Balaram himself are enjoying. Text 23. तन्मातरौ निजस्तौ ग्रह गृणया स्नुवन्त्यौ पङ्का पङ्काङ्गराग रुचिरौ उपगृह्य दोर्भ्यां दत्त्वा स्तनं प्रपिबतो स्म मुखं निरीक्ष्य मुग्धा स्मिताल्पदशनं ययतु प्रमोदम्. Dressed with muddy earth mixed with cow dung and cow urine, the babies looked very beautiful. And when they went to their mothers, both Yashoda and Rohini picked them up with great affection, embraced them, and allowed them to suck the milk flowing from their breasts. While sucking the breast, the baby smiled, and their small teeth were visible. Their mothers, upon seeing those beautiful teeth, enjoyed great transcendental bliss. Hare Krishna. Purport. As the mothers cared for their respective babies by arrangement of Yogamaya, the babies thought, "Here is my mother," and the mothers thought, "Here is my son." Because of affection, milk naturally flowed from the mother's breasts, and the babies drank it. When the mothers saw small teeth coming in, they would count them and be very happy. And when the babies saw their mothers allowing them to drink their breast milk, the babies also felt transcendental pleasure. As this transcendental affection continued between Rohini and Balarama and Yashoda and Krishna, they all enjoyed transcendental bliss. Haribol. Text 24. Yat अगना दर्शनै कुमारलीलौ अन्तर्व्रजेतद् अबला प्रघृता उच्चै वत्सैरितस्तथा उभावो अनु अनुकृष्य मानव प्रेक्षन्त्य उज्झित गृह जह जह्रूर हसन्त्या. Translation. Within the house of Nanda Maharaja, the cowherd ladies would enjoy seeing the pastimes of the babies Rama and Krishna. The babies would catch the end of the calves' tails, and the calves would drag them here and there. When the ladies saw these pastimes, they certainly stopped their household activities and laughed and enjoyed the incidents. Purport. While crawling in curiosity, Krishna and Balrama would sometimes catch the tails end of the tails of calves. The calves, feeling someone had caught them, would begin to flee here and there, and the babies would hold on very tightly, uh, being afraid of how the calves were moving. The calves, seeing that the babies were holding them tightly, would also become afraid. Then the ladies would come to rescue the babies and gladly laugh. This was their enjoyment. Hare Krishna. How beautiful it is, right? Uh, Krishna and Balram are holding the calf, and calf is running, and they're all over the place. And Yashoda is running. Oh, what are you doing? Leave, leave, leave. And then she picks up Krishna and Balram. Hare Krishna. Jai. How fortunate are we that we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto on Ekadashi day. For a minute, Prabhuji and Mataji, just come out of all the nonsensical material achievements and material world that we are in. This is the world. It's so filled with happiness and joy, where there is no CBSE, no ICSE, no artificial intelligence, no data science, no medicine, no engineering, no chartered accountancy, no nonsense, no MBA. Huh? What else is there? No law, hmm? No civil services, nothing. What is there? Only cows, calves, cow dung, Krishna, Balaram, Yashoda, Nanda, Vrindavan, filled with fun and happiness. Text 25. Yeah, this is one more thing. Huh? Like, just think about it. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who cannot be conquered or defeated by anybody, a simple calf is able to drag Krishna into all corners of the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. A simple calf, small little Krishna, is being dragged and thrown here and there by a small calf. And the same Sukadeva Goswami says this material world can be crossed just like you cross the hoof print of a calf when you become a Krishna's devotee. You can do that. श्रृंगी अग्नि दंस्त्री असि जलद्विज कंठकेभ्य क्रीडपराौ अतिचलौ स्वसुतौ निषेधुम् गृह्याणि कर्तुम् अपि यत्र न तज जनन्यौ सेखात आप्तुर अलम मनसो अनवस्थाम्. When Mother Yashoda and Rohini were unable to protect the babies from calamities threatened by horned cows, by fire, by animals with claws and teeth such as monkeys, dogs, and cats, and the thrones, swords, and other weapons on the ground, they were always anxious, always in anxiety, and their household engagements were disturbed. At that time, they were fully equipoised in the transcendental ecstasy known as the distress of mental affection, for this was aroused within their minds. So, mothers are always very careful and all the time conscious of their children. Mothers have like sixth sense, you call it, and it's true. Fathers cannot gaze. Sometimes mothers, they know when their child is in trouble even before the child is in trouble. I have seen many times. I have seen it myself. My own wife. Once we were once in America, I was sitting in the hall of the house and I was browsing something, I was working or browsing, I don't know. And both my children, Parth and Hriday, were playing. Hriday was barely 1 year old. That's it. And they're playing with Lego and the big size Lego, not the small Lego, Lego plastic blocks, little big one. And my wife was cooking in the kitchen. There was no way she would have thought of anything wrong might be happening with the children. And I also never understood. What my younger son did, he took a big block of plastic Lego and he put in his mouth. He was biting it, but then he put inside his mouth. Now, it cannot go inside because it's too big. But how did it go inside even his teeth is a mystery because even if he opens his mouth completely, it wouldn't go inside because it's so big. But he somehow landed up putting the block within his mouth, right? Inside his mouth, and it was neither going inside nor coming outside. It was stuck inside the mouth, behind the teeth. And because of that, he was not even able to shout. He just started crying. And I was just sitting nearby and I didn't notice. Maybe I was putting earplugs. I don't remember exactly. Suddenly, my wife came in, from the kitchen, and she came and she looked at Hriday and she called me, "Come, come, come! We have to remove this." And generally men are strong. We think we are strong, so I kept my two fingers inside his mouth like this, and I was trying to hold the block. It's a tiny mouth, big block, and trying to pull it out. He had teeth that just started coming. The teeth were stopping me from pulling it out. And in front of my eyes, I saw his entire face color was turning green and blue, which is very dangerous sign, which means that he's becoming breathless. Right? At that time, I was very tense. What to do? And my wife just kept her hand inside and tuck, she pulled it off. You know, um, it was not about strength. It was about the conviction and love of a mother, you know, which is coming from Supreme Lord, Yashoda, how she protected Krishna. All mothers are very uh, protective of their children. They are so, they have the sixth sense, they know everything. They all the time think about their children, wherever they are. Even the mothers, the child is gone to some other country. She's always thinking of it. It's such a curse that, mother has to be separated from her children. Our ancestors, mothers always saw their children always throughout their life. The children would never leave the place. Children would never leave the village. Their children would grow in front of them from an adolescent to a youth to an old person also. A mother is never separated from her child. And she's happy. And she's all the time talking to her children. It is such a hellish world we have created where, in the name of education, in the name of prosperity, in the name of God knows what we want to achieve, we are getting separated from our children, and children are getting separated from their mothers. Well, sometime is okay, but all the time, and then you go and try to get all that love and affection in a limited time, in a limited place, and then you think that's okay, and then you get used to it, saying that, this, I think this is the way life is. Life is not like that. It's very unnatural way of living, very unnatural. Well, can I reverse it all today? No, I can't reverse it because the world has become like that. Our children will go. Our children will go. And children will go into unknown waters. They will go through the difficulties. We think it's good for them. We think it is challenging, but at the same time, we should understand it's very unnatural. It's uh, something in us will be dead. Something in us will cry. Something inside us will not be satisfied because of all these things. But that's Kali Yuga. Welcome to Kali Yuga. It is going to happen. And instead of we trying to fix it, we will even justify it because that's how the society is. So, whenever I see small children being left in crushes and mothers going to offices or even, enjoying their mobile phones, I see some, places where in society we have small gardens with all this child climbing rods and everything. Mothers bring their children there. The children are playing, crawling, dancing, singing, shouting, laughing. And what is mother doing? Scrolling, pressing, hearing, talking on the phone. That is how it has become. So we don't deserve to find happiness. And when we have that happiness, when Krishna gives a glimpse of what is Goloka through our own children in family life, we choose to reject it. In fact, there are some mothers who are transporting their children from one country to another country because they need to earn dollars. The dumbest, idiotic class on the planet. And we call them educated and well settled and highly intelligent. Anyway, purport. All these pastimes of Krishna and the great enjoyment exhibited by the mothers are transcendental. Nothing about them is material. They are described in Brahma Samhita as Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. In the spiritual world, there is anxiety, there is crying, and there are other feelings similar to those of the material world. But because the reality of these feelings is in the transcendental world, of which this world is only an imitation, Mother Yashoda and Rohini enjoyed them transcendentally. Haribo. Text 26. Kalane Kalen Nalpena Rajarshe Kalenalpena Rajarshe Ramakrishna Chagokule Ak- Akhrista Janubhi Padbir Vichakramatur Anjasa. O King Parikshit, within a very short time, both Rama and Krishna began to walk very easily in Gokula on their legs by their own strength without the need to crawl. Purport. Instead of crawling with their knees, the babies could now stand up by holding on to something and walk little by little without difficulty by the strength of their legs. Again, this is a magical thing, right? I mean, magical moments. Your child walking. How many of you remember your child walking? First time, first step. You should be fortunate to be in that point. It's very special. I remember my my young children, like my son Parth. It happened so that I was sitting with my friend. My friend came to visit me in Chennai, and Parth was barely 1 year old, something like that. Few months or little less than 1 year, something like that. And Parth was in my friend's hands. So my friend is sitting 6 feet away on the ground. He's sitting on the ground. I'm sitting on the ground. We're just chit chatting. And I am talking to him, and he's talking to me, my friend, and we both are busy discussing something. I don't remember what subject. We were very much engrossed in that. We were like not arguing, but very deep in the subject. He was telling something, I was listening, I was answering, and this and that, this and that. And my son Parth was in his hands. And then during the discussion, both of us didn't realize that actually Parth got up and he walked to me and he was in my hands and he was standing. And I just caught him as if he just came to me, I holded him. And I'm still talking to my friend. I didn't even realize, neither did he, that he walked. And my wife was inside, in the kitchen or somewhere. She was doing something. And suddenly, after holding my son, I realized, wait, what just happened? He's standing, he's not on the floor, he's standing and he's in my hands. And then my friend, he said, Hurry, one నడుచుకుంటూ నీ దగ్గరికి. He said, he walked to you. I said, really? I never seen him walk. And then I again holded him. I said, go to my friend. My friend started calling, come, 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 Path, Path, Path. We used to call him Pandu, Pandu. Pandu, Pandu, ra, 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 ra. And then I left my hands and then I saw one by one feet struggling, stopping, struggling, stopping, struggling, stopping, balancing, balancing, balancing. He went there. My wife also came. We celebrated, oh my God, such a beautiful time. And my younger son also. My wife was cooking in the kitchen and he was in the hall. He just stood up holding the table and she looked at me, said, Lakshman, look at, he's going to walk now. He's going to walk. He stood, he's trying to come towards me. And we saw, and Hriday is put like 4, 5 steps and top, he sat down. I'm sure this memory is there in all of you, for your children. You can remember that moment, right? Such a beautiful moment of your child walking, taking the first step, instead of crawling, getting the confidence that he can walk. The another funny part, Parth, he walked that day and he started running also. He walked and he started running also. And next day he forgot. Next day he was crawling again. So, hey, get up, you can walk. You walked yesterday. But small child, he forgot. It took some few more hours. We tried to make him stand again, and he was like still crawling, but slowly started walking again. So this is the beauty of seeing your children. And we all also walked once, and with our parents watched us walk. Hmm? Hare Krishna. So sweet, right? Krishna's pastimes, it brings such sweetness out of all of us. We forgot everything, right? For some time, we forgot the problems that we have, the comparisons, complexities that we live with. Everything we forgot, and we are just seeing Krishna and Balram. Text 27. What is the time? Yeah, we'll just read few more. I think it's a chapter with many Hari lot of verses. Yeah, we cannot finish 52 verses. We'll read few more, and maybe the next devotee can take it more forward. We are just enjoying the sweetness of Krishna's childhood pastimes. 27. Tatastu Bhagavan Krishno vasasya yasyair vraja balakai sah ramo vraja strinam chikride janayam mudam. Translation. Thereafter, Lord Krishna, along with Balarama, began to play with other children of the cowherd man, thus awakening the transcendental bliss of the cowherd woman. Purport. The word Saha Rama, meaning along with Balarama, is significant in this verse. In such transcendental pastimes, Krishna is the chief hero and Balarama provides additional help. Text 28. कृष्णस्य गोप्यो रुचिरं वीक्ष्य कौमार चापलं शृण्वन्त्या किल तन्मातुर इति वोच समागता. Observing the very attractive childish restlessness of Krishna, all the gopis in the neighborhood, to hear about Krishna's activities again and again, would approach Mother Yashoda and speak to her as follows. Purport. Krishna's activities are always very attractive to devotees. Therefore, the neighbors who were friends of Mother Yashoda informed Mother Yashoda of whatever they saw Krishna doing in the neighborhood. Mother Yashoda, just to hear about the activities of her son, stopped her household duties and enjoyed the information given by the neighborhood friends. Hare Krishna. This is called chit chatting. Chit chatting is not talking about nonsense, talking about your children activities, neighbors coming and enjoying and telling what they saw, and uh, they're also specially remembering Krishna and talking about Krishna. And just imagine, child is also seeing his mother and is seeing other ladies in the courtyard. They're talking about him. How such a sweet atmosphere, right? Hmm? Text 29. Vatsan munchan क्वचिद् असमेय क्रोश संजातहाश स्थेयं साध्वी अति अंत दधि पय कल्पितै स्थेय योगै मर्कान् भोक्ष्यन् विभजति सचेन नाति बाध्यं भिन्नन्ति द्रव्यालाभ्ये सग्र कुपितो याति उपक्रोश्य तोकान्. Our dear friend Yashoda, your son, our dear friend Yashoda. So gopis are telling Yashoda, our dear friend Yashoda, Your son sometimes comes to our houses before the milking of the cows and releases the calves. And when the master of the house becomes angry, your son merely smiles. Sometimes he devises some process by which he steals palatable curd, butter, and milk, which he then eats and drinks. When the monkeys assemble, he divides it with them. And when the monkeys have their bellies so full that they won't take more, he breaks the pots. Sometimes he gets no opportunity to steal butter or milk from a house. He will be angry at the householders. And for his revenge, he will agitate the small children by pinching them. My God. Then, when the children begin crying, Krishna will go away. So he's coming to your house. He's searching for butter and milk and curd. He's not finding it. Then he becomes angry. And what does he do? He goes and he pinches their children and make them cry. Huh? Hare Krishna. He throws things apart. His revenge, for his revenge, he'll agitate because he's not able to find. He's agitate the children in the house. My God. Like I remember, my father and mother, they both tell that when I was very young, we used to live in Pune in a building with hundreds of families in the building, like very, very crammed up. And we only had one room with common bathroom outside and just one room. In that one room was kitchen, bedroom, hall, whatever you call, small room. And I would crawl and go to my neighbor's house. I was like maybe 2 years old, something like that. I would crawl and go to my neighbor's house exactly at the time when an old lady in the house, she used to make chapatis, right? They used to make chapatis in the evening sometime. So I would exactly go to their house at that time, go and sit beside that old lady making chapatis, and I would ask for chapati. And that old lady would shout at my mother, saying, "Take your son back. He exactly comes when I make chapatis and he wants our chapatis only. Take him back." And then, that old lady's daughter, who is same age as my mother, she would just tell the old lady that, her mother-in-law actually is making chapati. She would tell her mother-in-law, "That's okay. Our Babu has come." They had to call me Babu at the young age. So Babu has come, give him one chapati. What is the problem? And they would give me the chapati. And I would sit there and eat. This all is told by my parents. I don't remember. So then I would take the chapati, get onto their bed and sit on the bed. And there is a little base for a window on the bed. So I would sit on that base and then eat the chapati. And it is told that the day I would not go at the time of making chapatis, the old lady would come to my mother and ask, "What happened to Babu? Why is he not coming?" You can see that the same tendency, motherly feelings, the source is coming from Goloka, right? And all notorious things that we all did, right? Everybody in the call, somebody is a vice president, somebody is a country head, somebody is whatever, but at one point, you all were what? Small children crawling on the floor, going to neighbor's house and trying to steal and clean, do notorious things. We all got it from Krishna. Krishna is Akhila Rasamrita Murti. He is the epitome of all loving pastimes. And we can experience that, see that in our own lives in little, little ways by our own activities. And the most natural things that we love about, we don't have time to discuss them also, right? We are so busy, right? We just walk, run to our offices. We don't even talk to our parents. We don't even talk to our children about all these things. And by the way, the amount of passion has increased so much that even if somebody discusses about their childhood, it's boring. Prabhuji, class khatam karo na, kya baat kar rahe ho? Talk big philosophy. Talk about, achintya, Veda, oh, talk about, this yoga, that yoga, this philosophy, that philosophy. Parikshit Maharaj, knowing all the philosophies, few days before his death, has understood that Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Mudamate. Right? You are a Mudha if you're not able to do Bhajan of Govinda. This is the Bhajan of Govinda, reading his pastimes. So let this purport, we'll end it here. Hmm? After that, the nectarian activities continue. Purport. The narration of Krishna's naughty childhood activities would be presented to Mother Yashoda in the form of complaints. Sometimes Krishna would enter the house of the neighbor, and if he found no one there, he would release the calves before the time for the cows to be milked. See, this is another thing. Some people fanatically talking about Gaurakshan. They say that calf should not be tied, they never should be kept away from the cow. Calf should be the mother. It's written in Bhagavatam that Krishna would go and release the calves, which means what? Calves are separated from the mothers for a certain period of time. And then they're also left to the mothers at a certain period of time. And the milk, not just for milk extraction, even for the safety of the calves. Calves are two small beings. Sometimes cows balk, they can stamp on their own calf or some other calf. So calves are not advised, especially young calves are not advised to be with their mothers all the time. So, people create these theories that, milk should not be taken from the cow because it's torture to the cow. All the milk belongs to the calf. No, it's not like that. Cow loves to give milk to us also, to its calves also, but we should not take the milk without giving it to the calf. And here it's being told that Krishna would just go and release the calf just before milking, so it will go and drink all the milk. Hare Krishna. The calves are actually supposed to be released when their mothers are milked, but Krishna would release them before that time. And naturally, the calves would drink all the milk from their mothers. When the cowherd men saw this, they would chase Krishna and try to catch him, saying, "Here is Krishna doing mischief." But he would flee and enter another house where he would again devise some means to steal butter and curd. Then the cowherd men would again try to capture him, saying, "Here is a butter thief. Better capture him." And they would be angry. But Krishna would simply smile and they would forget everything. Sometimes, in their presence, he would begin eating the curd and butter. There was no need for Krishna to eat butter, since his belly was always full, but he would try to eat it, or else he would break the pots and distribute the contents to the monkeys. In this way, Krishna was always engaged in mischief making. If in any house he could not find any butter or curd to steal, he would go into a room and agitate the small children sleeping, thereby pinching them, and when they cried, he would go away. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada is telling it, like he's actually seeing uh, Krishna in the Goloka and is writing the purport, right? And remember one thing, Prabhuji and Mataji. Prabhupada was in the last days when he's writing this, when he's dictating this on the dictaphone. Last days, practically. These chapters from 8 to few other chapters are the like the last days. You know, Dasura, Brahma Vimohan Lila, right? So that is what chapter 13. So we are in chapter number 8. Chapter 13 was the last chapter that Prabhupada uh, translated and gave the purports to. Of course, he gave the purports and he translated the entire 10th canto in the form of Krishna book, but practically going verse by verse. And just see, in the last days, when his health was completely bad, he was emaciated, bones were only left, and barely Prabhupada was eating anything. He's so much in trance, explaining Krishna entering other houses and stealing butter and uh, creating mischief, everybody running behind Krishna to find him, right? Maybe Krishna wanted Prabhupada to end his pastimes in this world while he is enjoying the pastimes of little Krishna, right? While he's enjoying. Of course, Prabhupada is enjoying Krishna all the time. He's pure devotee. He's come from Goloka to save all of us, to take us all to Goloka. He has come. But Prabhupada was so nicely enjoying the sweet pastimes of Krishna as a small child while he was on the bed, and he was showing to the whole world for the rest of eternity that no pain can trouble a devotee when he is enjoying Krishna's pastimes. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srimad. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaura Hari Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhuji and Matajis, for joining the Bhagavatam reading class. We could not go through many verses, but the verses were so sweet. What can I do? How many verses we went through? We started at 18, we stopped at 30. Only 11 verses. So the next devotees can enjoy more. So any reflections, Prabhuji and Matajis? I'm sure you all remembered your own children's childhood.
Yes, Prabhuji, truly 100%.
Huh?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, wonderful session.
Hare Krishna. Sometimes too much philosophy is irritating, right? See, what go philosophy? We want Krishna like a small child.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ.
Yes, Prabhuji.
ప్రభుజీ, ఐ డోంట్ నో, లిటిల్ కృష్ణ అని ఒక సిరీస్ వచ్చింది ప్రభుజీ 2009 లో.
Hmm.
ఇస్కాన్ బెంగళూరు వాళ్ళు
Yeah.
చేశారు. ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ మీరు చెప్పిన వర్సెస్ లో చాలా వరకు ఇట్లా తోక పట్టుకొని వెళ్ళడం ఇవన్నీ అన్నీ ఉన్నాయి ప్రభుజీ. అవి
Yeah.
ఇస్కాన్ హరికృష్ణ వాళ్ళు తయారు చేశారనమాట విత్ ఇన్
Beautiful.
అసోసియేషన్ విత్ రిలయన్స్.
My children grew up seeing that.
కరెక్ట్ ప్రభుజీ. అండ్ బోత్ శుభాంగ్ అండ్ వేదప్రియ దే లవ్డ్ ఇట్. అవి ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఒక మిలియన్ టైమ్స్ చూసుంటాం ఆ సిరీస్ అన్ని
See,
మొత్తం మేము.
in that series,
Yeah.
there is this beginning of every episode, right?
Yes, yes.
And Krishna is sitting with a flute beside a tree on a grass mountain, right? And the camera takes like this towards Krishna. You can see the backside of Krishna is holding a flute, right?
Yes,
And
Prabhuji.
then,
Yeah.
and then at one point, he just turns like this and he laughs at you. My God, that is like, my God, Krishna, I saw you, Krishna. Like, it's for everybody. I have seen it maybe, I don't know, 30 times. Even now, if I just keep it, I'll just keep seeing, because they made it very well. The
Yes,
devote
Prabhuji.
is produced by Reliance, if I'm right.
Reliance and ISKCON Bangalore.
Yeah, ISKCON Bangalore. They did a wonderful job. Actually, by doing so, my children's childhood, they saw Krishna many times because nonsensical, meaningless, stupid cartoons were being produced on so many other things. But this was the sweetest, So they used to see little Krishna, and we also devotees. We had an option of showing something to our children. Yeah, I wish they'll make more. Yeah, with
Yes,
artificial
Prabhuji.
intelligence now we can make many, many more. But still, the way they made is amazing. I don't think AI can bring that sweetness. But they did a very good job, especially Krishna's
Yes,
face,
Prabhuji.
his color, his hair, and holding the flute and the voice. Everything was so good.
Yeah. Thank you,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Any other reflections, Prabhujis, Matajis? What did you feel about Krishna crawling? Do you want Krishna to crawl into your house?
Yes, Prabhuji. Janmashtami. Jai Janmashtami.
Janmashtami is coming. What a time for us to read this. And so make some butter. Make some nice butter, hand churned butter, and keep in your house. As Janmashtami is coming, take some nice desi cow milk and make butter out of it, and then keep it. And pray that Krishna, please come into my house and take it. This is my offering.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Mataji.
Pastimes were so wonderful, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. You spoke about butter, Prabhuji. We are getting milk from your farm. Every weekly thrice we make butter and we offer to Krishna.
Yeah.
That too fresh farm milk.
Yes.
Thank you for that also, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The farmers, it's just my farm. It's all the farmers together. We are doing it. But more importantly, how Krishna is churning us. Once Prabhupada explains that this whole material world is to churn us and to bring the butter out of us, and the butter is bhakti. So the material difficulties we face, the challenges we face, is only we are getting churned. So let that churning happen. Let Krishna do whatever he wants with our bodies, with our minds, with our wealth, health, everything. And at the end of our life, the butter floats, right? Bhakti floats, and Krishna picks it up. So let's stay together and let's get churned. While we're getting churned, let us sing Hare Krishna, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय, सुखदेव गोस्वामी की जय, परीक्षित महाराज की जय, नंदा महाराज की जय, यशोदा मैया की जय, वृंदावन की जय। हरि बोल, निताय गौर हरि प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल, हरे कृष्णा। Thank you very much, Professor Matatis. Have a wonderful rest of the Ekadashi, and let us meet each other on Friday evening in Mahum Tridasha to celebrate Balram Jayanti. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. I'm ending the session.